Well, hi there. Happy Thursday. It's August 23rd, 2018, and I'm Eric, talking at you as always from beautiful downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where those who can, do. Those who can't, teach. And those who just don't want to, but still expect to get paid, they run for political office. And it is an absolutely beautiful Thursday evening here in the beautiful city filled with beautiful people. As you can tell from my voice, I've just taken a shit kicking from the smoke in the air, as well as 3 days of sucking up to iTunes and trying to apologize for my indiscretion. So I'm having a little trouble talking. So if I could talk less, you guys could talk more. That would really help me out tonight. Give me a call, 604-655-9630. Talk about whatever you want to. Or send me an email. It's not just me6@gmail.com. Or if you don't feel like being on the air, you can always just go over to anchor.fm, go to the Eric Bennett Is It Just Me page, and leave a voice message right there on my page, and I'll play it on the show for you unless you tell me not to. And please, I suck at editing. It's difficult, and it takes time consuming, and I hate it. So please try to refrain from swearing as much as possible. Even though we've got the green light now, we'd like to keep it to a minimum if we can. I always wanted to. It was supposed to be a non-swearing show, and it went that way until the introduction of Gord Strain, my brother from another mother who just can't control himself. So it is now a explicit content show, but that doesn't mean we want to go wild with it either, right? So try to keep it to a minimum. But please call in as much as possible and interrupt me, because I really don't want to talk any more than I have to. And unfortunately, we don't have Gord with us tonight to talk. So it's just me on my own unless you guys help me out. Gord is nowhere to be found. He's just not returning my calls. And that's because he sucks. And we don't care because the show's better without him, right? No, of course it isn't. Gord's amazing. It's been absolutely just a dream come true having him chat with us. We've done like 3 weeks worth of material in about 2.5 nights, just because we love talking to each other so much, and it's so much fun that the show just goes like stink until we get too tired to carry on. And that's awesome. That's exactly what you want from it, right? So wherever you are, Gord, I hope you're having a good night, and we'll talk to you as soon as possible. And speaking of someone who's doing some talking, did Maxime Burnier throw Justin Trudeau the most massive Hail Mary pass you've ever heard of in your life today? And who called it at the end of the podcast last night? Before this news was announced, what did I say? I said to Gord, I guarantee you this is going to be a resurgence of the Reform Party in Canada, and that the Conservative Alliance would split. And sure enough, this morning, Maxime Burnier announces his departure from the Conservative Party. Do you think Stockwell Day is going to be in the news tomorrow? Gee, I wonder. Yeah, Stockwell Day is going to be all over the news. And anyone who, if you followed my illustrious career, you'll remember my interview on breakfast television with Stockwell Day in 2002, where he announced the inception of the Canadian Reform Alliance Party, and I was quick to point out to him that that's crap. That's the crap party. And I like to think I'm the one who took credit for them changing their name. I know I'm not. It was Stephen Harper, but I like to take credit. But it would be good to see Stockwell Day back in the news. I guarantee he pops up any minute now over this announcement from Maxime Burnier. And I don't know what the hell just happened there. Some random SkyTrain announcement that was way too loud. I don't know what's. I think they're doing more maintenance on the trains. Which, my God, let's just jump right to it. This maintenance on the trains, it's constantly maintaining, and it's just ridiculous. It never ends. Now, I've said for the all summer that I will pay the full fare when I get the full transit experience. That means each bus lines up with a train that has a working escalator, and I get where I'm going on time. So as I've done all this summer, I pay for my trip at the end of my trip. I judge my ridership experience, and then I pay. But they're constantly working on things. It never ends, and it's getting really, really frustrating. Now, a friend of mine ventured a monumental idea to me, and I thought it was crazy. I thought it was a stupid idea. But I spoke to some members of the TransLink staff today, and they didn't think it was so crazy. So now I'm thinking this might be something I bring up in my mayoral campaign starting September 14th. We were discussing the possibility of a slight uptick in a consumption tax. Now, be it the PST or the gas tax, a consumption tax of our choice, a very slight uptick in it, and transit in Vancouver could be free. Now, that sounds ludicrous, but it's actually not. And TransLink staff themselves told me it's not. Simply because the maintenance costs are absolutely extraordinary. And the cost to fix these fare gates, every time someone blows through them and breaks them open, like the girl in front of me just did, the maintenance fee on repairing those is absolutely astronomical. So if we were to eliminate that from happening by making transit free, the cost would actually be reduced quite significantly. I thought it was a stupid idea. I really did, until I spoke to TransLink about it. And they don't think it's a stupid idea. So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Absolutely. So that could be added to my campaign platform. Is she still out there? I'd like to ask her opinion if she is. Hang on, she is still out there. I'm going to go try to talk to her. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to happen right in front of my face at such an opportune moment. It was very, very cool. So let's go see if she will answer a question for us, okay? Hang on one second. I'm sorry?
TransLink subsidized by the government anyway.
Right, it was slightly, yeah, not completely. It's partly taxpayer funded, partly federal government.
Yeah.
But if we took no one wants to see property tax or anything go up, but would you be willing to pay more tax for free transit?
Of course.
Awesome.
Everybody would, man. And also, it could be free. It's the problem with it is mismanagement of our taxes. We pay a lot of
100%.
taxes.
Absolutely. And TransLink's been a nightmare since they brought them in. Thanks, ladies.
Yeah.
Have a good night. So there's two more that agree with me. So this could be something that comes up in the election run starting September 14th. And of course, we all know who is the front runner. Not me. Not even close. I'm a distant 11th, I think. I may be a 10th. I don't know. I don't even show up on most of the computers. But one of the things apparently I'm going to be introducing is at least just look into this seriously. So there you have it. Very, very cool. When my friend Rob brought it up last night, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that it would never happen. And apparently I'm way off base on that. Which, since I've started this podcast, I had started opening a dialogue with people. I realized I am not always right all the time. Just most of the time. Like 99% of the time, but not all the time. And what a great... I have a lot of fun doing this with the public. I wish I could engage the public more. Vancouver public are not very fun. They don't want to answer questions like this. But we're going to keep trying throughout the evening, get some people to answer for us, because that could actually become the pillar of my platform. I didn't think so, but apparently so. And a lot of other announcements, coming by the end of the week. Where are we? We are Thursday night, so I can promise you by the end of the week, it will be up on the website, the complete platform as it stands to date. Now, is that going to change between now and Election Day on October 20th? Oh, God, yes, of course it is, about 100 million times. but I will have a complete idea of what I'm planning by the end of the week. And that will include retransit, ideally. What else will it include? Well, we are going to take a look at bike lanes, obviously. Why are we going to do that? Because most of these meatheads are riding up and down the goddamn sidewalk. Now, why did we just spend 9 years installing incredibly expensive bike lanes for you people if you're just going to ride up and down the goddamn sidewalk? So I don't think it's a problem with the cyclists as much as it is a problem with the bike lanes. We need to review them. Do they need to be relocated? Do they need to be replaced? Do they need to be scrapped altogether? It was a system that was introduced very, very quickly with very little consultation, and I would probably suggest that 2/3 of people are unhappy with them. I'm just pulling that out of my ass, but that's my number, and I'm going to run with it. What else am I looking at? These electric bikes, these scooters, these you don't need a license, you don't need insurance, but you take that regulator off and you can do a good 70K down the sidewalk. And that's absolutely absurd. Those things need to be off the sidewalks and on the roads, at the very least in the bike lane or on the road with the traffic. I mean, you're doing 70. And they are frightening. I've ridden one. They scare the crap out of me. They're a lot of fun, but I don't think they're a good vehicle to be on the road. But who am I to judge? They're very, very popular, obviously, because you don't need a license or insurance to operate them, but you can still do 70K down the sidewalk. I will be looking at regulating those. At the very least, having them slow down, but ultimately get them off and onto the roads. And that's what I would like to see happen with all bicycles. I would just like bicycles off the sidewalk completely. Or at the very least, a dismount and walk while you're on the sidewalk rule. I don't see that maybe happening, but we need to do some sort of review of that. Customer use only bathrooms. This is something that's been a big point of contention for me my entire life. Because as Gordon and I were talking about this when I brought it up the first time, for men, well, for everyone, but for men in general, you reach a certain age where you've got a hair trigger. You got to go. And this rule has led to many an embarrassing scene for many a male, including myself more than once. So now I've been getting a lot of flack for this one via email, via people on the street. So listen, business owners, cool your jets. I'm not saying you have to let everybody use your bathroom all the time. I'm saying use your discretion. You know, you can tell you operate in East Van. You know who to let use the bathroom and who not to. You don't have to put up this blanket rule, for customers only. Well, what about the patients with Crohn's disease? What about the poor old men like me who drink too much? We're not going to sit there for 3 hours and get bloody needles all over your bathroom. But the guy who is, absolutely, don't let him in. That's not what I'm saying. We're not going to force you to let everybody use your bathroom. That's stupid. So we're going to be looking into that. And then the biggest thing for me, the one I'm not going to budge on in the slightest, starting absolutely with the next event, which would be in 2019, the 420 celebration will not take place on public land unless every single nickel is paid for by the organizers. The city will not put up a penny toward this event, because pennies don't exist anymore. That's a good reason. But also because it's just stupid. It's not, now they're crusade because they won the fight. And, this is something I bitched about back in July. Legalized pot. Well, we did. Now shut up and go away. No, now what they expect is no age restrictions whatsoever on the distribution of marijuana. And also that vending of marijuana become legal without a license. Now, just when I thought Jody Emery couldn't get any stupider, she comes up with something like this. How ridiculous of an idea is that you should be allowed to peddle marijuana